Life has its share of ups and downs. What truly matters is how you get through those ups and downs. Hi, welcome to Bounce Back with Coco-Chi, a show designed to motivate, inspire, and help you to overcome the challenges life throws at you. Whether it be health and fitness, sex and relationship, business, career, spirituality, life, or just about the simple day-to-day stuff that stops you living your full potential. Stay tuned as we deliver inspirations, tips, and tools to help you navigate these challenges. I am your host, Coco-Chi. Living a meaningful life is closely related to authenticity, to being who we truly are. Many people struggle to be themselves for fear of criticism or rejection. As a result, they find themselves living a life that is far from satisfying or meaningful. To help me discuss more on this is Emi Oseni. Emi is an author, speaker, project manager, and business data analyst. She's fondly known as the bright light empowered to illuminate others. She loves meeting people and helping young adults get clarity in their life journey so that they can thrive and build quality relationships. Her pillars of influence are family and education. Amy has authored two transformational books, Living a Meaningful Life and Love Never Fails, which addresses the reality of juggling different aspects of your life while maintaining the joy and peace that would allow you to thrive. These books are available in paperback, eBook, and audible format on most distribution platforms. She founded Living Meaningfully, a non-profit organization in 2018 after writing her first book, Living a Meaningful Life, with the aim to help people discover and walk in purpose, grow together, and impact lives. Today, Living Meaningfully is a growing community with over 2,000 member plus, currently open to more networking and collaboration opportunities this year. Amy holds a Bachelor of Arts and Science in Business Informatics with a minor in economics and MSc in Management Business Analytics. She's passionate about using data to uncover global solutions. It's my greatest pleasure to have you on Bounce Back with Coco-Chi. Amy, welcome.
Thank you so much, Coco-Chi, for having me here today. Truly appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Oh, you're welcome. So, can you please tell our listeners a little bit more about you, that is not included in your bio?
For sure. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Bounce Back with Coco-Chi. My name is Amy, and I'm fondly called the Bright Light. I'm empowered to illuminate other people. First of all, I'm a child of God. I'm an author, speaker, a business data analyst, and a project manager. I call myself a purpose junkie. I love food. I am not allergic to anything. I love eating everything. I'm just that person. I also love traveling. I've not been able to travel within the past 1 year just because of the pandemic, but that's something I can't wait to unleash and just travel the world. I also love meeting people, and my mission is to help people, especially young adults, discover their purpose as they journey through life so that they can actualize their potential and build quality relationships. That's something that I am passionate about. My life goal is to die empty. It's not about making money. Money will definitely come for sure. I'm already rich, but money is just a reward for living in purpose. I'm all about purpose. I'm all about impacting and supporting initiatives, just supporting people because life on its own is already tough. And I believe that you can't go far alone. You can only go far with people. And people are your greatest resources. And helping and serving people is the best way to thrive. Alone, you can go fast, but with people, you can go far. So I'm your girl when it comes to if you need support and the right connections to make you thrive. All in all, I'm a people lover. And yeah, it's great to meet everyone here. I'm also like a founder of a nonprofit organization called Living Meaningfully, which just ties everything together in all that I'm called to do. And it's just to help and serve humanity.
Amazing. I love it. So, how do you remember your growing up? How was your childhood?
Wow. I love talking about my childhood because I always hear like traumatic childhood stories, but mine wasn't a traumatic childhood stories. First of all, I'm the firstborn in the first of five. I have four other siblings. We're four girls and one boy. And my brother is the last born. And we are blessed to have the parents we have. Thankfully, by God's grace, I'm a child to Chief Oseni Ilama and my mom, Satiat Oseni Ilama. I'm also from like Edo. I'm from Auchi. I'm from Auchi State in Edo State. I'm in Nigeria. Most people don't believe I'm Nigerian just because of my color, but I'm Nigerian. My childhood was great. I grew up in a family of love, unity, and a family that was centered around Christ. We instilled strong family values, and I would say that it has a good deal to play in the man of the house, the leader of the house, which shows my dad. He was able to have a family vision for us as a family and able to carry the whole family along. We always did things together. We are people of unity, and we had a very strong family bond, not just nuclear family, but also in extended families. Like you'll see my mom and her sister-in-law or her brother-in-law like best friends. So we had that close-knit family, and I grew up in so much love that it was even intoxicating. So because of that, and just because my parents were also very voice with their words, they showed us love, evergreen love, and they also made us believe that we had everything we could want or strive for. There was that confidence that was instilled in all of us from a very young age. That way, we had a very strong foundation to run with.
Oh, that's awesome. So, would you say, the relationship you have with your parents influenced your part in the success you have now?
Oh, definitely. It had tremendous impact in who I am today. I am who I am today because of the family that has raised me. And I can't give any speech without speaking up on my parents because most of the things mostly young adults deal with today, it all stems from the home. And I always tell people that it's not just about getting married. It's not just about loving on your partner, but you have to talk about how to build that family life because you don't want to just think about yourself and you see children going through depression, they are not confident, and just because they were not loved from that young age. So the foundation is always important to build so that people will have a much more happier life, a much more meaningful life than all the stress that we're going through. Would reduce it just because of that foundation that we built from family. So family is very pivotal in growing up, in building and impacting nations.
That's amazing. I love that. So, what is your story? We want to hear more. What are the challenges that you faced and how did you overcome them, if there's any?
Yeah, so the first thing people think I would face as a challenge was my color because I'm an albino, and there's this stigmatization of albinos of how they have a different skin color and how they aren't able to accomplish more just because they are different. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to see my skin as a challenge just because of the family I was brought up in. I never even knew I was an albino until later on, like I would say when I was 17, 18, because I was a star child in my house. Everybody wanted to be around me. So it was nothing that I really envisioned as a challenge. And I think that gave me confidence to move and also just speak to other people that are going through albinism and not see themselves as disabled just because of their skin color, but actually speaking up. And I feel that that confidence is also built from the house, which I was privy to get. But aside having that opportunity, that advantage of having that confidence and that family that not made me see my color as a challenge, my color also came with its own challenges. I have something called nystagmus, which is a deformity of my eye. I can't see things that are far, so I'm always sitting down in front of class, or I'm always having to put things close to my face just because my brain can't focus my iris. So that's something that I had to deal with time. But in as much as that's been a challenge that I have to go through, I make sure that I always communicate that to people when I'm in, so they don't just look at me funny when I'm doing things. And once I communicate it, I control my space. People now say, okay, this is not a barrier. She knows what the challenge is and she has looked for ways to address that challenge. So if I'm going somewhere, I'm making sure that I'm always sitting down at the front, just because I will not see anything at the back. And I will not just keep quiet to say I'm going to stay at the back because I don't want people to talk. But I make sure that I state my point in love and make sure people see things from a different view. Because if you don't speak about it, nobody will know and everybody will have idea in their mind. So it's always good to speak. I am able to speak just because of the confidence I've been able to build from my family, from how I grew up. So that's one challenge I faced. Another challenge I faced as I grew up in life was mostly academic failure. When most people see me, they think I am this smart pants, but I'm not that person that if I don't study, I'll pass. I always had to study just because I saw my dad show me his report card. My family as a whole, we grew up in that we had to put in hard work and we had to pass. So when I went into university, because I studied computer science, I was hit to a roadblock. And that's the time I knew dropout was real. People left the program every day. And I was in this space, home away from home. Right now, I'm in Toronto, Canada, home away from home. And I didn't know what to do, how to find my bearing. And thankfully, I had my parents as a support system to, help me through that. My assignments, I didn't understand it. Even when people explained it to me, I didn't pass. Either I'll get like a C. There's a course I actually failed and I got like an FN. So I went through that cycle of I struggled to pass. I had to struggle to pass and everything. Not until like third year. I think my life is all about consistency. So in as much as I had academic challenges, I had support system around me that I could always call on. If it's my mom that will look for like computer science, she would have to look for a computer science teacher back home that will help me with my assignments. Just support to go through that challenge was what helped me scale through. But my biggest challenge till then was still academic failure, but I had to take my GMAT exam when I was entering my master's program. I had to take my GMAT exam 5 times. And it was very demoralizing. It made me, because GMAT was one of those exams you have to take to advance in your academics and to advance in your career. And it was just very demoralizing. After the first or second one, people were like, there's no point taking it anymore. But I just had that instinct to keep going. One day it will click, and it finally clicked the 5th time after I took it. And that was what made me, and I was able to pass all these challenges. I just see them as a learning curve or lessons to be learned, and just to keep pushing past them to be who I am. So those are the challenges I've faced in my life journey. But those challenges have happened to make me who I am today, and I'm grateful for them.
Oh, wow. That's amazing story. So what were some key moments of awareness for you to turn around your circumstance? What are the key turning points for you?
The key turning points for me was it was just coming to a country like Toronto, Canada, home away from home. I didn't have family members anymore. I was left in freedom. I was left to figure out life on my own. Because there's this thing about life. When we're going through life, we're told that we should go to school, get a job, get married, get an income. But what really is life? Like, aside all those, okay, get a job, it's just doing. But people still do all these things and still have suicidal thoughts on a daily basis, right? So, because I saw people, even when they're successful, people, committed suicide. People were not even happy with the money they had. And I saw my peers getting pregnant I saw how they just didn't have the love that they needed. And there's just a certain way, because of the family I grew up in, I just did not want to be the black sheep. So I was just trying to look for the meaning of life in all these situations. Okay, why did God create us? And we attain one success. We hear that people die. What really is the point of life? I was just trying to struggle and understand what to make out of life, aside just going to school, getting a job, getting money, getting married. I think it was not until when I was 19, 20 years old, you know how they say that it's the people around you, the experiences you have and your environment that makes you. I was opportunity to be around community, people that loved God. I was moral, but I wasn't spiritual. I was moral because I was told to don't steal because still stealing is a sin. Don't kill because killing is murder. So I made sure I did not do all those things just because I did not want to be seen as a bad person. I just wanted to live that good life. But I had to transition from morality to spirituality to understand the meaning of as to why I do certain things, not just saying do not do this just because they said so, but just to understand God as a person. And I think that was my own turning point. I feel like living a meaningful life is centered around God, because you can have everything in the world and still be the loneliest man. And that's the most bitter type of loneliness, when you have everything and you're still lonely. Success has brought me world idolization. Success will only bring you world idolization and millions of pounds, but will only prevent me from the one thing I really need, which is loving and an ongoing relationship. So I had to find that ongoing relationship, and that relationship was having that God factor, and that was that God factor that changed my whole life. Was finding God. I was going to church regularly, but there's that personal relationship when you're just hungry to know more of God. And it all stems from like reading your Bible, like just going into the world, understanding things. You might not even understanding, but putting those principles in your life, trying to tell God, God, I want to hear you speak. I don't care what the pastor said. I'm tired of living based on another person's revelation of who you are. Point yourself to me. I want to know you. I know that you're real, not just because it's a Bible story, not just because there are stories and they've said that you are good. I want to experience you as a good God in my life. I actually broke down because I was tired of just it's one thing to grow up in a family where you grew up in love. It's great to have that. But even doing that does not give you that joy. You can be happy, but you will not have joy. That joy comes from within, and it comes from a supernatural source, which is God actually filling your heart and giving you clarity that no man understands. So that was a relationship that I found. I'm thankful for the gift of Christ. That was a relationship that I found that gave life much more meaning, that gave made me understand my purpose and to live in it. So right now I see myself thriving because I found that relationship, which is God. So the God factor was my turning point into all that I do.
Absolutely love this. Oh my goodness. You've actually gone inside the topic we have today. So, what makes life worth living?
For me, the only thing that makes life worth living is the God factor, like I said earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
And having the God factor makes you realize your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has a source. A telephone
Yeah,
has a
everything has a source.
manufacturer.
Ooh,
A
ooh, I
telephone
love
has
that.
a
I love that.
manufacturer. We all have different devices. Let's say an iPhone. You're
Mm-hmm.
only able to use some functionalities of that iPhone that has been previewed to you by other people. But you realize that as you're using that iPhone, you stumble on other functionalities that you did not know about with time. But that iPhone can still do much more than what you're doing with it. But all that functionalities, it's not like they never existed or you just discover them with time. Everything is already included in that iPhone's manual. So if you were privy to read every detail of that manual, you were able to use the iPhone to the fullest capacity that it's meant to be used for. That's our life as well. We think we know it. That's why we see people doing different things. We're trying to all figure out life based on what society tells us, based on, okay, let me do try and error. Let me see what will work. You see people trying to do different certain things in their lives, but even after they accomplish, they still feel that void because they've not found their real sense of purpose. They've not found their soil. Because we are seeds. God has brought us for seeds to germinate and be fruitful. He said, be fruitful and multiply. We have to find the right soil. Not all soils are good for us. Every seed has its soul. Every seed has its modus of operandi, how you operate and how you operate to your fullest capacity. So for me to operate, I believe that God created me, and I've been able to operate to my fullest capacity when I found going back, staying connected to my source, which is God, and He giving me my manual, he unraveling my purpose on a timely basis, because He's not going to unravel the whole purpose for me, because if He tells me everything that I'm called to do, even me, I'll run away from it. So it'll just tell me one step at a time, and He expect me to live in submission and obedience. And as I live in submission and obedience, the next instruction comes to be able to fulfill that big assignment He's called me for. And that's the only way I'm able to have that joy and peace. That even when I'm not making millions, even with the small money I have, I am still joyful. I'm still able to help people and not compare my life with another person that's making 1 million. Not because they have it and I don't have, but because I know that's not my calling and I want to help them actualize their calling and be who God has called them to be, while I am who God has called me to be. So living a meaningful life is all about, tying yourself back to God, finding your purpose in God, and being obedient and running with that mandate that God has given you to run with.
So, we've talked about living a meaningful life, I know, tracing it back to God. So, what are the ways to live a meaningful life? Because a lot of people are still finding their way. Tell our listeners, what are the secrets to living a meaningful life?
Because there are secrets to living a meaningful life. But why I tell people that you can't find what a meaningful life is if you don't ask the question, what really is a meaningful life? You have to ask yourself questions to get the answers you need. If you don't ask the right questions, you'll not get the answers you need. So if you really want to live that life that you so desire, first of all, you have to go back to your source, ask God. But even before you develop that relationship with God, you should ask yourself questions. What are things that I do on a regular? What are the patterns in my life? Do I have passion for? What do I think I can help humanity fix? Because you're not living a meaningful life if it's all about you. Because we are not created just to live for ourselves. We're made to serve humanity. So if you have your motive is about you, you will never find that meaningful life that you want, because it's tied to self. We were not made to live for self. Like, life is not about self. The way I see life is like a cross. Your relationship with God and your relationship with people. The vertical part of the cross is your relationship with God, and the horizontal part is your relationship with people. So you have to ask yourself the right question. What are my hobbies? What do I like doing? I don't care about time. I'm willing to commit myself to doing it, even though it might not bring me present joy, but I know that I don't mind doing this and sacrificing my time to do this. That way you're able to see patterns in your life that you can make an impact in, and then move from there. And then just ask people questions. I see myself asking my friends questions like, what do you think I like? What do I like talking about? What are the things that you see me I'm passionate about? Because we have blind spots. Sometimes we may not see what we are called to do just because we're living our routine lifestyles. But we have people around us that would shed light into the things that we are called to do. Because it's only when we are doing the things we are called to do that we are going to live a meaningful life. Because if not, we're just going to chase, or after what we see on social media, we are going to try and do those things, but we are just going to sap our energy just trying to please men and not trying to please God. So it goes back to God, asking the right questions, finding your hobbies, asking people about what you want to achieve, and just doing that soul search. You have to get away from everybody and just have that time alone to really find the real you that you want to see manifest.
So this question is has to be a deeper question. It's a deeper question you ask
You
yourself,
have to
and
do a
you
soul
only.
search.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, what makes you happy, and how do you define happiness?
What makes me happy? You want to know the real answer to them? What makes me happy is food. Just food. Just go for, I've actually been, just give me food and I'm happy.
I love it.
But really, what makes me happy is what I've been called to do. What makes me happy is when I see people living their purpose. When I see people having clarity, they're not bound by their past. They're not bound by what has put them down for the longest time. When I can see their pain, give them clarity and insight into that area of their life and see them run with it so that they can also thrive and accomplish purpose as well. So that's something that makes me very happy. One thing that also makes me happy is when I'm able to connect people with people. Because I might not be the one to help you. I believe that money is the lowest form of wealth. There's wealth in relationships. There's wealth in favor. Those are the true riches of life. So I feel there are value in relationships. What makes me happy is when I'm able to connect the right people together so that they can accomplish greater things together and just hear them, building on that relationship to help humanity and create value to this life. Those are things that make me happy.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I love that. So, my next question is bouncing back. What are the
Mm.
practical steps you have used to navigate challenges and still going on despite the circumstances you have faced? How can they help our listeners to apply same to their life?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I feel like everybody needs to bounce back because life will throw different challenges at. Life is not a smooth sail. We need bumps in our lives that will make us recalibrate and actually find out what really is this life all about. Because it still goes back to that. So for me, I have 3 resilience practices that I feel that once, I know once you adopt this 3, at least this 3, you're on your way to, getting up from that battlefield, that place you've been that has not brought you things you want. So the first
Yeah.
I would say is finding a sense of I know I still go back to purpose, but purpose is literally it's literally who I am. So finding a sense of purpose is 1. 2 is developing a strong social network. And 3 is building confidence and being optimistic. So I'll just touch on those 3. In terms of finding a sense of purpose, as I grew, I came to understand that there's more to life than just existing. Like I said earlier, when it's not just about going to school, getting married, or we see even the richest of people are having suicidal thoughts. So wherever you find your purpose will make you, okay, no matter what I go through, I am still called to this thing. What can I do? How? And because when we are working in purpose, there's resources in us. God has already given us everything that we need to accomplish that thing He's called us. We don't have to look for it any other place. It's in us. We just need to figure out what is in us that we already have, and then just build on that substance that God has already given us to bless humanity. Like I said again, because finding a purpose keeps you focused, even when challenges hit you. You focus and you see the bigger picture. You just don't have a myopic mindset to say, okay, this happened, I'm done with life, I want to commit suicide. But you see the bigger picture and you'll be like, oh, this hit me. But there's a lesson to be learned in this situation. And no matter how long it takes, I will rise again. So that's one thing. The second is developing a strong social network. Life itself is difficult, but what makes it easy and enjoyable is your relationship with God and your relationship with people. It's important to have people that you can confide in. And this starts from the foundation, your family, because that's where relationship really stems from. But even though you don't have that family, you have to look for people. Yeah, and before you can look for people that you can confide in, you have to be that person. I thought people are always looking for people that they can confide in, but they're not that person. You can only attract who you are. So you have to be able to be vulnerable. You have to be able to speak from a place of love. That way you create a much more enriching social network that will help you. And the last one is building confidence and being optimistic. You cannot live life and not be optimistic. There's power in your words. There's power in all that you do. It's only by being optimistic you can thrive. A lot of people have questioned confidence and have questioned who they are just because of the labels that have been put around them. Some people have told you you're not good, you're not good enough. The words have already shaped people's life just by saying that word. So you can turn that word around. When you hear you are not good enough, you can tell yourself, I can do all things through Christ. I may not be an expert now, but one step at a time and I'll get to that goal. So you have to be optimistic and you have to be confident. You have to believe that, because people are attracted to confidence. Once they see that you say you're not good enough, but you say I can do all things, with time they will tell you that you can do all things just because of the confidence that you exude. So you have to control the narrative of people, because if not, it would shape your world to get to a point where you're tired of living in the life you have. You have to be tired of what, like, mediocrity. You have to get to a point where you're tired and just speak up and tell people that I'm tired of you talking to me this way. This is not who I am. I'm here to enrich the world. I'm here to make an impact. Once you have that confidence, that boldness to make an impact, only through that are you able to bounce back.
Oh my goodness. Wow, I love it. I love it. So I know you're passionate about using data to uncover global solutions. What other things are you passionate about?
Besides data, I'm passionate about having intellectual conversations. Like, I love having conversations about life, how to make people better, just chilling. I like having friends over, playing games, eating, just unwinding, just
Party.
being there for people,
Yeah.
partying, just jokes and banter. That's something that I love doing. I love having conversations and just iron sharpens iron, just learning from
Yeah.
other people as well. I love traveling. So data is
Mm.
great, but I love traveling. I haven't traveled in a while, but yeah, that's something that I also love doing.
Yeah, it's just
What else?
COVID got a lot to answer for that.
To be honest, Colin has a lot to answer for that. But those
Yeah.
are things I love doing aside data. I love just helping people get to their goals. So I'm a project manager, so I love handling projects. I'm a communication person. Like, my pet peeve is lack of communication. I don't like when there are gaps in processes. So I love stepping in and making sure things are going as planned and just communicating with people to get to that desired goal. So that's who I am. And that's what I love.
Oh, that's amazing. I love that. I love that. So I know you got two books. Could you tell us a little bit about those books? Then where people can get it. I know you've said that like Amazon on, but can you tell us a little bit more about the books that you've written?
Yes, I have two books published already, and the first book is called Living a Meaningful Life, which was published in 2018. And that book covers every aspect of life. I talk about my story, how, if you enjoyed listening to this, you can learn much more about me and how I was able to bounce back from the challenges I faced, be it academic failure, be it building confidence, be it building relationships. I speak about, because it's one thing, how do you balance different aspects of your life and still have that joy from within? People don't know how to, do different things. It's more of just one thing, but how can you find joy in everything that you do? I speak about confidence. I speak about communication and the skill of listening. I speak about building sustainable relationships. I cover a lot of things that have to pertain to life, how to get back up after going through challenges, how to deal with long distance relationships for those that, like, on long distance relationships. I'm like, definitely can find that book on Amazon, on Audible, on iTunes Store. It's doing amazingly well. It's like the feedbacks that keep rolling in. People are buying thousands of copies of that book. So definitely get that book and you'll be blessed by that book. The second book is Love Never Fails, and that's an anthropology that I wrote with four other authors, right? So we came together to write a book about, love never fails, building relationships, and, building your marriage life. So in that book, I speak about forgiveness, understanding the background of forgiveness, how to give forgiveness, because it's not easy to forgive. In as much as people say forgive, 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 it's one of the hardest things to do. So I speak about it. I share different stories, how I've had to forgive people, because people will never give you the same energy, and even the people that you help the most will turn their back on you. How can you live even in that situation? How can you forgive them Forgiveness does not mean you're cordial, you're back to them, you're friends with them. Forgiveness just means that you have to forgive them to heal from that situation and move on. Because if you don't forgive them, literally they literally have a barrier to how much you'll go. And that's something I speak about in that book, and it's also doing well. That's something that you should, pick up.
Yeah.
I also have different books coming up too, so stay tuned.
Oh, I'm definitely getting those books, especially that the
Yes.
meaning of that. I'm getting living meaningful life. So, any last word, any inspiration, motivation for our audience?
Yeah. Your greatest cheerleader is you. You control everything that happens to you. You do not control what family you're born into, but you don't have any control over that. But you have control about what you will do with the situations you find yourself. You cannot blame anyone for where you are. It has happened, it has happened. Yes, you might think you want to go back to the past and change things, but living in regrets will never take you back to the past. Life is not about that. In everything that's happened to you, you had to go through that because everybody has a story to tell. That thing had to happen to you. Ask yourself, why not me? What can I learn from it? Who else should it happen to? Why did it have to happen to you? You have to see the lesson in every situation, no matter how bad that situation is, and take the lesson and come up with a different story and challenge yourself to go. That's the only way you can move past where you are and soar in every area of your life.
Wow, that's awesome. Amazing. And that's a wrap today. Oh my goodness.
Thank you so
Goodness.
much, Coco-Chi, for
Oh
having me.
my guys, if you love this episode, please share it with your loved ones and don't forget to review and subscribe. Thank you so much, Emi, for coming, and God
Thank
bless
you.
you.
God bless you too.
Thank you for listening to Bounce Back with Coco-Chi. If you find value in this podcast, would appreciate a rating on iTunes. Please check us out on Instagram at Lifestyle Talk with Coco-Chi. As always, please subscribe to the podcast to catch every new episode and leave us a review so we can continue to bring you fresh content. See you next time for another episode.